Hello traders and welcome in a new daily market analysis video. Today is the 12th of May and this video is brought to you by the market research team at Pure Prime. Let's have a quick look on the markets. We finally had some movements yesterday on the euro and the pound versus the US dollar, especially the pound today. By the beginning of the European session, we had some really bad numbers on the economic agenda. Let's have a quick look and let's check what does the technical analysis tell us for today. All of this will be discussed in this video. Please stay tuned. By having a look on the economic agenda for today, the 12th of May, we can quickly see how bad the numbers from the British economy were in the beginning of the European session, exactly at 6 GMT time roughly. We had some numbers from the British economy regarding the GDP, which shows that the economy basically contracted during the last month. However, it's still basically expanded year over year. I mean, by comparing the last month with the April of 2021, basically the economy expanded. However, the numbers overall still seems bearish and basically negative for the British economy as a whole. And this is why basically we had this downward move on the pound by the beginning of the European session, and we'll check that later on the charts. Going through with the economic agenda, basically today we do have two key numbers that we will be looking for, or two key events. The first of all, the PPI, or the Producer Price Index, which is a secondary inflation measure from the US economy. Yesterday we had the CPI numbers, which basically applied or added more volatility to the markets. We had this upward strike on the dollar and this downward move on gold. So today we will be having the PPI numbers, not expected to have this much volatility as the CPI. However, it's still key to watch. We also have the initial jobless claims, the weekly figure, and in addition, we will be looking for the OPEC monthly report to be announced today, which might affect the oil markets if in case we had any surprises regarding the expectations from the OPEC countries. That was all for the economic agenda. Let's go forward and have a look on the charts and the technical analysis. The dollar index, we had this upward move, another downward move yesterday to test the levels of support 103.40. The levels that were basically key for us to short the dollar index. We mentioned in yesterday's video that we will be waiting for a break, close, and a retest below the support to go short. We didn't basically sell the breakout below the upward price channel, and we waited for this 103.40 levels, which basically the dollar index failed to break below. We had this support, a very strong support here twice, and off we go. We are going to the upside again. The dollar index at the moment is basically during the day trying to target the levels of 104.60 roughly, which is not too far away. We're talking about 30 points roughly. However, I do really expect that we'll be having a downward move from those levels. I mean, we will expect to respect the levels of upward limit of the price channel, because on the 4-hour time frame, we can see here that the momentum is very bearish. We're having this bearish divergence, so we do expect a pullback and a correction from the levels of 104.60. Going through with the euro, we had a break below the support. Finally, the sideways range is basically penetrated to the downside. We are currently trading around 20 or 30 pips below the support that we mentioned. The euro is continuing the move to the downside, this strong downward trend. This is basically a signal to add to the short positions on the euro. We still have some downward the targets on the euro should be around here, which are the levels of 1.0390 roughly. We're talking about 50 or 60 pips potential to the downside on the euro versus the dollar. The same roughly goes for the pound. After trading in a sideways range for quite some time, we're having this downward break to the downside. And yes, we mentioned before that any upward movement on the pound is something to be shorted, and we're having this taking place. The euro finally reached the resistance of 0.86 that we mentioned. We're having this very beautiful bearish price action from here. The engulfing candle is to the downside, so we are basically bearish on the euro pound during today and the next couple of days. We do have our target set around 0.8525, roughly 50 pips to the downside is something that we will be looking for on the euro versus the pound. That was all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and please stay tuned for another videos. Please stay safe.